This is the Pirate Hunter, and this is the second kit review of the kits from 1955. The one I'm going to do this time is called the Medicine Wagon. It's another one of Revell's Authentic Kits, like the first one I reviewed. This one, my grandfather built these. I was more into building airplanes and things like this. Now, the first kit we found that I reviewed, we found a couple pieces missing. This one I know has got some decals missing out of it, things like that. Yes, they used decals back in them days. So let's get into the kit review and we'll go from there. The box art is pretty neat on it. You gotta remember, this box art was produced in 1955. It's Revell Authentic Kit Medicine Wagon Miniature Masterpiece. All plastic, quick, easy to build with 2 horses and 7 figures. The end of the box says use Revell S cement, kit numbers H52198. And on the first one, as I explained, the H in the 521 is the kit number, and the 98 is the kit price on it. On the side, we have 4 different model kits. The H213, 310 ranch wagon, H307 aircraft carrier, H305 covered wagon, H213 skyrocket. End box, same art. This one's got the H513 tally ho coach, which is the first one I reviewed, H216 B25 Mitchell, H215 F84 Thunderstreak, and the H71 1929 Bentley on it. The boxes aren't very big. As I made the comment in the first one, I don't know exactly what scale these are on it. Directions, as you can see, the light in here is really bad. As I explained, we're doing major remodeling, and I end up out here because of all the noise and everybody going in and out trying to get this done. And this, as you can see on the instructions, this paper is quite yellowed from the thing. So let's go through this and see what we got. A lot of these parts have been removed off the sprues. As I said, my grandfather was the one who built these. On this we have base to the wagon, Miniature Masterpieces Incorporated, Venice, California, copyright 1955. It's got a few little tiny ejection marks on it. None on the backside, no real sink marks or anything like that. A little bit of where it was attached to the sprue. The side on this has got really, if you look at this, it's got some pretty good detail on it. It's pretty sharp detail. It's pretty crisp. And the side of this is, if you look on this, down there where this red portion is on the box, it's got a very rough type finish to it. There's a little bit of flash on it, not much. No ejection pin marks on the inside or outside. This is another part. I believe this is probably the top of the wagon on it. You see it's all it's all kind of embossed on the inside. Looks pretty, it's pretty smooth, no ejection pin marks, few little tiny ones on the inside. You got one horse, half of a horse and half of another horse. So we got a whole horse on this. And same as on this. The detail on these is pretty good, really. I said, I'm doing this with my tab. Maybe if I do it on a video camera, it'd probably show a little better. But you look at the tail right here. Now, there's a pretty good amount of detail on the tail. You can see the ribs on the horse. This looks like kind of a starved horse. But all of the traces, and not traces, but the harnesses and the horse collar all have really good detail. The mane has pretty good detail in it. The facial features and the bridle and bit have some pretty good detail in them. The ears are pretty good on it. There's no real flash on them, little tiny bit. And they've got an indentation like the inside of a horse's ear on it. A little bit of, like I said, a little bit of flash, things like that. Nothing major on it, though. And we have the figure again that we measured out. This one measured out at this one to the top of the figure, from the top of the foot to the figure, is about 1 and 18/30 seconds. 9/16. So about 1/40th maybe scale on it. I don't know. But if you look at the detail on this guy, this, you can see individual fingers on this. The detail is pretty sharp on the coat that he's got on, Medicine Man style coat. This is the Medicine Man. They called him snake oil salesman back in those days. And that's where the term patent medicine or snake oil comes from, things like that. The pants have all the wrinkles and the creases in it like they would. The coat does. His face has got pretty good amount of detail on it. Got the same kind of mutton chops as the guy that's riding the tally-ho coach. The bottle even has got a really, you can see the top on the bottle. So it's really pretty good detail on this. I'm really, like I said, this is from 1955. So, and this is the top part. That is this part here on the top of the medicine wagon. And you can see, I don't know if you can see on this, but the detail on this, there's a pretty good amount of detail on it. It's pretty sharp, and there's minimal flash on it. No sink marks, things like that. This is some more of the, I'm guessing the decoration. Yeah, it is. These are the decorations on the side of the wagon. Some more decorations for the side of the wagon. This is your tree that your horses hook up to on it. And this here is the platform, I think, that he is standing on. And if you look at it, it's got a lot of detail on it. And it's a raised type detail on it, like you would find on a platform, raised platform, so it's not slick to fall off of. A little tiny bit of flash, but not much. Some more parts for the medicine wagon. These are the hubs that go on the axles to hold the wheels on. Like I said, I don't know everything that's in here. Here's the other side of it, and you can see how this is, like I said, the detail on this is really raised and really pretty sharp and pretty close. And the embossing on this, the raised stuff on this, you can really feel. It's really there. It looks pretty good. And if I don't know if you can see it, like I said, I do this on a tab too. But if you look at each one of these posts that's in there, they are detailed like a turned post for a stair rail, where you can see it where it's been turned, and it's got the center, the two cutouts in it, and the center one, and then the bottom one on it. Again, no real flash marks. We know what those are. And this is the guy sitting there that is playing the banjo. Now, when they did these medicine shows, they usually had somebody, a minstrel type person along with them that played music, played a banjo, sang something like that to attract the rubes in the town so that they could sell them this patent medicine, this snake oil. A lot of this patent medicine at the time, people would take, and it was guaranteed to either kill you or cure you. And a lot of this stuff at the time had opium in it. So if you had a real bad stomach misery and you bought a bottle of this, what's the name of this one? Dr. Brown snake oil. If you bought, I like that, Dr. Brown snake oil. If you bought a bottle of Dr. Brown snake oil and drank it, it'd make you feel better, obviously, because opium or, well, paregoric either, is going to make you feel really good. You're not really going to care how sick you are. But this, again, has got a real lot of detail on the face. The fingers all have details on it. The back of his jacket, the top of his hat, the crown of his hat has got a lot of detail. And this I don't know if you can see it. And you can actually, this has the things on it you can see to turn to adjust the tightness on the strings on a guitar or a banjo. This is a banjo or a mandolin, probably a banjo. But you can actually see, I don't know what they're called, you can see on this where you turn them to tighten the strings up. That's how much detail is on this. Okay, this one is, this is my favorite. This guy is the stereotypical guy you see in every John Wayne movie, Gunsmoke, Bonanza, anything like that. The guy with the old beard, you know, the old hat that's been beat up, was an Indian fighter, fought in the Civil War, things like this. Got his pants tucked into his boots. And these are, I can't tell if it's got the detail on it. No. They used to call them mule ear boots. And what you had on hanging down the outside of each one of these boots was long straps of leather about that long. And it made it easier to pull the boots on. They called them mule ears because they hung down like a set of, looked like a set of mule's ears, I guess. But this, if you look at him, he's got a pretty good amount of detail. And dude's got some back problems, man. That's quite a profile. I'm really impressed. And as you notice, he's got a handkerchief stuck in his back pocket. And he's got his bib-alls on, and you can see the thing in the back for the bib-alls, all the markings on this. Very little, very minimal flash. Okay, this is some more of the stuff for the decorations on the medicine wagon here. A lot of detail on it. A little bit of flash on this one. A lot of detail though. A little bit of flash, not much. Nothing that you couldn't, you know, write home to mother about. Just a little tiny bit of flash on this. A lot of detail. Okay, how many wagon wheels? Okay. There's one of the big wagon wheels. Look good. They really do. The spokes. And this has got, if you'll notice, I don't know, like I said, I do this with a tab too, but on around each spoke, on the outside edge of this, is raised like would be rivets or stove bolts, things like that, to for detail on this. Both of them are the same. These are the two back wheels on it. Another half of a horse, of course. A lot of detail on this one. Really, there is a lot of detail on these. They really are. There's, as far as fit, there's a little bit of trimming or fit issues. Maybe I don't know how to put a horse together. Build a lot of things and never build a horse, of course. The boss reminded me of a part of a horse, but we won't go into that. Oh. Other than this is the only thing, you know, like I said, it's got a pretty good gap, but you probably, I don't know, you trim and fit, get that out of there. We'll see. I haven't really, like I said, looked at this. A little bit of flash on it, things like that. Not much, though. Looks pretty good. Some of this might be able to just be trimmed. Yeah, there's some plastic sticking up other than the pin right there where it goes together on the front. Part of the suspension system. Yeah, this has been started. This has got old glue on it. And as you can see, the way it was put together, it didn't get put together quite right. But when you got to realize, my grandfather was born in the 1800s. And at the time he was doing this, he would have probably been in his 70s maybe, when he was building these. So something like this I can see. Can I fix this? Yeah, I can get in there and fix it. Won't be too much to do it, but we can get it apart. I have some other things that I'm going to review probably next week of kits that were built, that he built, that over the years got thrown in plastic bags, cardboard boxes, bottom of totes, things like that kind of got beat up, that I'm going to resurrect or reconstruct, something like that. There's the seat, and you can see on the back of the seat there's pretty good detail on the back of the seat and around the top of the seat frame around it. The seat, you can see the lines for the what would be the wooden seats in it. This is some more of the where the wagon tongue goes into this, is right there. There's a lot of pretty good detail on this. It's pretty realistic on the way it was constructed. This is another step. I'm guessing it's a step on this. We'll figure it out as we go. Where, like I said, I don't know what's in here and what's not. I'll figure it out as I build it. We'll just have to go from there on it. Some more parts, small parts for, looks like almost like tin pans hanging there or something. Some kind of brackets. Whole bunch of loose parts. We are missing some characters, I think. Yep, we're missing some characters, but oh well. And this one I like. This is, remember, when this was done was in the 1950s. Political correctness really didn't exist back then. And so a lot of things that were accepted then and were done then, people just accepted and did it. Now, this is the stereotypical Indian chief standing there. A lot of times these guys recruited them to get an Indian, wear the headdress, wear the outfits, things like this, to stand there to help sell the medicine on it. The breech clout has got pretty good amount of detail. This is the only one that's got any real flash on it as far as figures, but it's still not what I call a lot of flash. The individual feathers, you can see the individual feathers on this, and where it goes attached to the headband here, and around the front and the face, and down off the feathers down off by the ears are really, really a lot of detail on this. So it's got a pretty good amount of detail. Another seat, another step board thing, something like that. Some more of the suspension system. I don't know if that's the wagon tongue or not. An axle. The two front wheels on it, wagon wheels on it. Some more suspension parts. Those are actually the springs they used back in them in those days. And these kind of springs, they weren't the kind of springs like we have now. A lot of times some of the coaches, like the stage coaches, were suspended off great big things of leather, great big long straps of leather, which gave it suspension movement so it could move up and down on it. These here are the bases, and they're pretty neat on some of these things. This is, there's number 1, 2, no numbers on that. And this one I like. This one says farmer, Indian, woman. We're missing the woman. Oh my God, she probably run off with a snake oil salesman. Oh well. So we don't got no woman in here. Well, we'll deal with it. Not worried about it. I don't know what size this is. Like I said, I'm guessing it's about a 1/40th maybe. So there's all the parts that I have out of this kit. Now the next one I'm going to do is the bag is unopened. So will I get to that one tonight? Probably not by the time I get all this done. Here's our instruction sheet. As you can see, it's really quite an instruction sheet on it. It tells you to put your suspension together. It says to put the axle, front axle, rear axle, front springs along rear springs. Then it shows you how to put all the suspension onto the wagon. So actually this will turn. You can be able to turn it, pose it. Bunch of the filigree and details, the rest of this, the steps, things like that. And then here's your final assembly of it. The snake oil salesman, the guy playing the banjo, the pots and pans. This looks like it has, maybe it's supposed to be a torch on it. Now the decal is missing. And I don't know whatever happened to it. Hard telling. So wheels, and there's the farmer, And there's the woman that is missing. He might have used it in another kit that he was building. I've got some others over here that he built and just kind of, like I said, got thrown around until I finally found him and rescued him. And the indent says parts list for your medicine wagon. I don't know if I would send this to Revell if they'll send me the parts I'm missing. Somehow I don't think they got it in the spares there somewhere. Pretty simple. I said the paper's yellowed. It's been in there so long. And here's the thing that I always looked at when I got into the kit. First thing I did is look to see what they had there. The planes that fly for freedom, an F-89 Scorpion. Let's see, ships, they run for a battleship Missouri to $1.98 to $5.95 for a motorized Big Mo aircraft carrier Franklin D. Roosevelt $2.49. Guided missile submarine Nautilus $89. Airplanes, Convair B-36 giant bomber 98 cents. 98, 98, 79. Where was we find 79? Douglas D558-2 Skyrocket 79 cents. The F9 Cougar 79. 89 cents for a Sikorsky helicopter. Don't get so hot and excited, everybody. This is 1955 money. And 1955 money was a lot less than 2014 money. We look at this stuff and think, geez, man, look how cheap this was. Yeah, but minimum wage wasn't very high back then. And cost of things really wasn't that high, but nobody made that much money. It just really was kind of tight. This was only 10 years after the end of the war. And in the 1950s, things in the economy in the U.S. weren't as great as they started up again. Famous guns, miniature masterpiece. And you could buy a H1606 Revell paint kit and cement, prepared with special formulas for perfect plastic assembly and finishing touches. Colors include silver, gold, black, white, red, blue, tan, and yellow with brush thinner and S-type cement for 98 cents. And you had a revolving plane stand, free. Used free with every Revell plane authentic kit. Stands on desk, bookcase, or mantle, or hangs on wall. Extra swivel bases, 25 cents. And you could buy display case kits for either 98 cents or $2.49. A little bit of history on this and the color call out on this. Black, red, gold, the decal, which I don't have. Black, brown, gray, white, tan, black, blue, white, black, dark blue, yellow, black, red, gold, yellow, brown. So there's kit number 2 that we have done on this, out of the 4 that I have to do from that time frame. If you look at this kit, all kidding aside, there is very little flash. There is an extraordinary amount of detail on this thing. You can see another one where he started to put it together. Like you look at this seat here. This is an individual, now you'd call it a button tuck seat. When I was building bikes, and this would be called a button tuck seat. Not tuck your butt on it, but button, B-U-T-T-O-N, and tuck, T-U-C-K, seat. And you look at it, there is a lot of detail on it. A real lot of detail. And there is very minimal ejection pin marks. So this is really a very minimal amount of flash, large amounts of detail. Like this horse went together. And there is a very, very thin parting line that if you squeeze on it, you really can't see it. But this was in the days, as I put the comment on the first video, this was in the days when there was no PE, no resin, no Tamiya extra thin, no saws for razor saws, no airbrushes. When you built these kits, when you worked like I did to get 98 cents plus tax, license, and dealer prep, I think it was to come to $1 with taxes back then. When you built one of these, you had paintbrushes, several different sizes. You had a tube of the original type modeling glue, and you had your paint, your thinner, and usually you had a pocket knife to trim the flash off this stuff, what little flash there is. But looking at this, like I said, there is not a lot of flash on this. Minimal ejection pin marks, and the ejection pin marks that are there are inside where you're not going to see them. So, as Coen and I talked a little bit about this and the progress of modeling. Now, have we progressed? Yeah, in some ways we have. If you look at kits that are 100 times the cost of this, $98, $100, some of the kits now are $150. Have we progressed? Well, yeah, I guess. But you look at a lot of this stuff, and for the detail on it and this was in 1955. So, I guess we've progressed in some ways, in other ways we haven't. So, there you are. This is the kit review number 2 on this, which is of the Medicine Wagon. And the next one we're going to do, which we're probably not going to get to tonight, is going to be, it says Western figure set, but it's not. This one, the next one coming up, is the Chuck Wagon. And as far as I can tell, this bag hasn't been opened. So we'll get a total shot on this. And there's a little teaser, kind of like they do. There's the minute. There's what suggested positioning of figures. There's your instruction sheet. We'll do that one tomorrow, and we're going to try to get to the double boxes tomorrow. If not, we'll get to them the next day. As always, this is the Pirate Hunter, so take care of yourself and each other. Always go to ISM, to the website for the forum, and join that. It's a very good forum to belong to. You'll also find out there's a lot of good people on YouTube that you can contact and ask for help on painting, weathering, or builds. A lot of tutorials there if you want some help on that. So, this is the Pirate Hunter, and we'll talk to you later.